Hello, hello. I hope everybody is doing fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Michelle's Inspiration Hour. So, if you have not met me, I am Michelle Henderson, and I am a certified spiritual advisor, psychic medium, author, and speaker. And yes, I love to talk, as you can tell. So, please let me know if you are here. Just say hello. And if you're watching this at a later time or you're listening on podcast at a later time, say hello. I would love to see you and let me know where you are. I am here in Texas where it is very, very hot. And so I know people up north, I'm very jealous of all the cool weather that you're having. So welcome, welcome. So during this inspiration hour, I hope that you get inspired for this week so that you feel like you can conquer the world, do anything that you want to. And I also hope that you learn something from this as well, because at the very beginning, what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about spiritual experiences, and then I'll do a psychic reading for anybody who is still here. And maybe you can tell me if you learned something at that time. Last week, I did an interview with a wonderful man. Let me see if I can get his picture up here. Let's see. I'm still learning the buttons, as you can tell. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. So wonderful, wonderful man. And he actually published a book and he talked about all of his spiritual experiences. But Wajid Hassan is, again, a wonderful author, and he was a wonderful guest. And he explained that one of his spiritual experiences that really changed him was having an experience and seeing a alien or a spaceship. And he said that he did not go into much detail about it because it was so spiritual for him. He said that he doesn't really talk about it. And so that's, I thought this week, let's go ahead and talk about the different spiritual experiences that we have all had. And to understand what experiences that we've had, we kind of need to know what a spiritual experience is. So it does affect the human soul and spirit. Okay. So you really feel it. And whenever I have a spiritual experience, I actually have tears running down my cheeks, or sometimes you have a hard time breathing. So these spiritual experiences, you are never the same after you have them. And there are so many different experiences that you can actually go through. And let me go through some of them that you can actually experience. Now, I know whenever I am listening to someone sing, because I am not a singer, and I hear somebody sing, sometimes I get real emotional because I'm thinking what talent that they have. They have such superb talent. God is actually coming through their voice, and it really touches me a lot of times. And so I try to sit there and try not to cry, but that could be a spiritual experience. Also art. So whenever you see a art piece, I know that depending upon what the art is depicting, it can be very emotional and you can have a spiritual experience that way. Through literature, reading books, or watching a movie. Sometimes movies will stay with you for a long time. And, you think about, well, why is it affecting me this way? And sometimes it will trigger something that you have experienced, and that will have a spiritual experience. Religion. So I know many times whenever I read the Bible, I actually feel the atmosphere, the energy around me change. And so a lot of times I do have a spiritual experience whenever I'm reading the Bible or reading something that's very uplifting. All right. So meditation is another time. Sometimes you can be triggered, even though you're supposed to be clearing your mind. Sometimes you can be triggered and really have an uplifting spiritual experience, just being in awe. And you can feel that wonderful energy. Stress. All right. So stress is kind of a negative feeling, but many times you'll have that stressful moment and you go, okay, I'm getting tired of this. I'm going to change for the better. Drugs, like in the 60s or the 70s, a lot of what we used to call hippies would experiment with the drugs and would have spiritual experiment experiences that way. And I know that, a lot of people would make magical brownies and put in their oven and so forth. And just have such a wonderful spiritual experience. So, and then also, um, sex. So many times, people who experience that love with somebody, that can be a very spiritual experience. So, what my question is a lot of times is, what experience have you had? Okay. So, I love this quote, and I'm going to read this. Many of the most deeply spiritual moments of my life haven't happened in my mind or in my soul. They happened while holding my son in the middle of the night, or watching the water break along the shore, or around my table, but watching the people I love feel nourished in all sorts of ways. And I know that's another spiritual experience that I had, is the birth of my children. So, and I don't, I just, it's such an awesome experience. And you're going through that pain and you're going, I'm never going to have another child again. And then you have that spiritual experience and you go, yes, I'll have another one. So, all right. So I love that quote. That is a wonderful quote. And I have one more quote that I did want to share with you. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's not the events of our lives that shapes us, but our beliefs as to what those events mean. So again, what I want you to do is think about, what spiritual experience have you had that really radiated with you, changed your soul, changed the way that you thought about the world. So really think about it. And you don't have to share it with me, because again, a lot of times it will be very personal and you don't want to share it with anybody. And that, is perfectly all right. So, but miracles can bring that spiritual experience as well. So just it, but you may also want to write it down, but usually spiritual experiences you'll remember for a long time. All right, I'm going to say hello to Tammy. How are you? How are you? Thank you so much for coming, Tammy. Hello. Happy Thursday. Good to see you as well. So, and if Tammy, if you have a spiritual experience you want to share, please do. And if you're not, I can completely understand, because a lot of times it will be very personal. All right. So, what I'm going to do, and I know that that was a short topic, but it's short and sweet, about spiritual experiences. And it's really, I was really just at awe with my guest last week, because he had so many spiritual experiences in his book. And I think, my goodness, see the wonderful light and just feeling that wonderful energy. All right. So, oh, okay. So Tammy says that she is thinking, and it's okay, Tammy. So what I'm going to do, and if anybody is here, Tammy, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm assuming that you do want a reading. So I'm going to go ahead and do a reading for you. And I am, for some reason, before I even got on, I was being very pulled to use the Letterman cards. And so that's what I'm going to use. And so I'll have to draw 3 cards. Okay. And Tammy said, sure, what she does want a reading. I'm going to go ahead and put you up there, Miss Tammy. And hold on, I got to get situated. And I'm going to change the energy out a little bit. I'm going to get into the movement of this new technology. So to be able to change the energy, I'm going to turn some music on, right? So that we have something to listen to. And I'm going to do, for just a bit, the very beginning, some rock and roll, just to get the energy up. So Tammy, I want to see you dancing. Or feel your energy dancing anyway. Okay. I am actually going to add some other music. All right. So Tammy, let's get with you now with your card reading. Now I know why people actually get somebody else to help them in the studio, because sometimes pushing all these buttons and you're trying to think about what you're saying and trying to keep the show going, it's really hard to keep going. All right, so Tammy. All right, so I'm going to give you 11. I'm going to give you advice for this week. So it's going to read a little bit differently. Oh, wow. Okay. So what I did is I drew the first card that came, which is a lady. Okay. The first card that I came to that depicted a lady. On the left side, and your back is kind of turned. This card right here just means that for this week, any messages that you get will be actually a good message, okay? And it will be a message that you may be waiting for. And I'm being pulled to the rainbow, which means that it'll be a really uplifting message. But your back is turned and you're not really looking at that message. Even though it come, I think you'll be going, oh, I'm excited it's coming. But what you're really looking at is time, okay? So I think there's something that you're looking at and it is not coming and you're getting impatient and you're going, what in the world? And so what I think that you need to do is you need to really let the process, let it happen, and don't be impatient. Let the time work, and within time it will get there, because I think the time has really slowed down for you. So yeah, and I'm glad that you feel very special, Tammy. That is awesome. Yeah, I keep changing my time, and I think that it may be throwing people off. And and it is summer, so it's okay. And then, but next week, and I'll bring that up in just a few minutes, Tammy. All right, so hopefully that resonated with you. So make sure, and whatever it's really feeling your energy, you feel to me, you feel very good, that you're in a happy place, and it's very soothing and it's very calming. So hopefully that describes how you are right now. Okay. So all right, so what I am going to explain is next week I will be having a guest. Okay. And his name is Erez Agam. And I'm sorry, it won't be next week, because next week I will actually be at a wedding, which I'm really excited about, my daughter's wedding. So I'm taking the week off, okay? And so I will not be here next week. But the following week, okay, the first Tuesday in July, Eris will be on the show, and he's going to be talking about immigrating to Germany and a lot of inspiration behind that. Hey, Tina. Thank you, Tammy. Yes, so I'm really excited that my oldest daughter, I'm sorry, my oldest daughter, she's already married. My youngest daughter is going to be married. All right. So, yeah, so definitely don't miss him in a couple of weeks. All right. I see Tina that just popped on. Tina, would you like a reading? I am still here. I have not left yet. And I know that there's a little delay. So just let me know and I will start your reading and I'll explain what I am doing. Okay. All right, Tina. And Tina, I don't know if you were here when I was doing Tammy's reading, but I am using the Lenormand cards. And so it's more of giving us advice this week. It's not the past, present, and future. And so, or one card, I'm actually doing 3 cards today. I just was being pulled to them. And so let me see what advice that we can get for you. Okay. And with these cards, I actually look at them. And the first lady that I'm coming to, I'm going to grab. Oh, wow. which is good when I'm going, ooh, wow. Okay. All right. So let me get myself back into the picture. All right. So right here, so the first lady that I pulled, okay. Oh, so I was gone, huh? Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm learning all the technology. So I'm doing Lenormand cards. And what I'm doing is the first lady that I came, that they're cards that I actually have to look at. And so the first one that came was the lady. Okay. And so both sides of her is going to give us some direction. All right. So what I'm really looking at is, and this is behind you, so this is what you have been working on, okay, is really, okay, see, it's got two different meanings, and I'm trying to get the meaning behind it. At first, I was thinking it was okay. So right here, you have had a lot of new beginnings. See, this can either be that you are looking at the eyes of a child and you need to continue that way. But what I'm really getting is that you've had new beginnings that have happened to you and that you've had to deal with in the past, okay? And you're having to deal with, but they will pay off, okay? And the reason why they will pay off is you're beginning to see the gifts of these new things that are happening in your life. And you'll be going, you may not, you're going to have to really look deep into these gifts to really, pay attention to them and have gratitude. And so really make sure that you really look at what's going on around you. And then that way you'll be able to say, ah, that is the gift of all the stuff that I've had to deal with, all the new things that I've been having to deal with. They're finally falling into place. All right. So hope this is great advice for you. And hopefully I'm still there. So hopefully this resonated with you. And hopefully I came back after I turned on back on the technology. All right, Miss Tammy. Hope that will get you through the week. Those new beginnings are going to bring you lots of great gifts and lots of gratitude. All right. So I believe, okay. All right. So good, good. I'm glad I came back. There's always a delay after I say something, always a delay. So what we talked about were spiritual experiences. And again, it's almost with Tina's reading. So sometimes new things that happen into your life that can also turn into spiritual experiences, that can turn into gifts. And so but the number one thing that you have to do is you have to pay attention to it. And sometimes that's very difficult because life kind of gets in the way, right? All right. So I believe that is everybody that is here that was wanting a reading. And again, I won't be here next week because I'll be at the chapel with my youngest daughter getting married. And then, not me, but she'll be getting married. And then the following week, I will be back on with a guest. Okay. So much blessings and much inspiration, and have a wonderful weekend and stay not.